I didn't really understand meaning in life until my own life started falling apart at the seams. And honestly, that's what led me back to God and kind of the path where I'm at today. And I want to talk about how that happened and how everything started changing after that. As you know, we've been doing the 4M's series, and today is the final video, the final M. Yeah, we're going to be talking about meaning. And just to recap, the 4M's are mindset, meals, movement, and then meaning, which we're diving into here today. And those are the 4M's are kind of the pillars of what got me to where I'm at today. What really, in hindsight, changed my life. These are the four main ingredients to to happiness, to health, to clarity, to purpose, all these things today. The meaning aspect of it really refers to faith and kind of purpose. Obviously, just finding meaning in life. So yeah, we're gonna dive into kind of what got me here, and hopefully you guys can get something out of this. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. So I guess we'll start off. I don't want to take you guys back through my whole life story. We'll just kind of start just before things really started changing. So had been in a relationship for almost 4 years, maybe. Was engaged, had the house. Doing a lot of renovations to the house. Really periodically. It wasn't like a consistent thing. It was very spaced out. I was really not ambitious at this point in my life, like other than in my career, my job. I was just trying to appease, my partner and do what society kind of says, like, get a good job, work your way up, make as much money as you can, and that's do that till you're 60 something years old, and then hopefully you'll have enough money saved to retire and enjoy life finally for a few years, if you live even a few years after that. Yeah, I was really just not doing. I wasn't going to church. I grew up a Christian, as most of you know, going to church all the time, but I never really like developed my own personal relationship or had any personal like encounter with God. Maybe like at times during like praise and worship, I kind of felt that that presence, I guess. But yeah, I was never like disciplined in my faith or my consistent with like prayer or trying to establish or develop a good relationship with God. And this was a really low point, honestly, in my life. I was, I wasn't really drinking much, like, on the weekends and stuff here and there, maybe like one or two beers after work here and there. And then, got diagnosed with the celiac disease, and then changed my whole life because I was eating fast food all the time, playing video games, sitting on the couch after work, like not doing a whole lot, just real comfortable and lazy, honestly. And got celiac disease, had to start eating right. I would still go, get fast food for my fiance at the time, and I'd have to cook myself some random gluten-free something or another. And I started feeling better, but I was just doing what I had to do. I had just wasn't eating gluten because I had celiac disease. And somewhere along the way, my relationship sort of abruptly kind of came to an end, and I had to sell the house and all this stuff. And I started going out drinking a lot, like if not every night of the week. Not out of like sadness. It was like because pretty quickly, like, yeah, it was pretty tumultuous and hectic and chaotic, when the relationship first ended. But after like a couple weeks, like once it kind of settled in my mind, and like this was like the first point in my life where I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? Instead, it's like, what is this teaching me? It's my own fault. I get myself in these situations and I ignore signs and feelings, and think you can love someone into, I guess, loving you how you want to be loved. But that's not how life works. And kind of like in hindsight, this was God, like, sort of, I feel like, isolating me and forcing me through this lesson, like in the most abrupt and chaotic and tough way, because I wasn't getting it before. I'd been through similar situations many times in my life, and just never, still thought I had to have a partner to complete me. And, I talk about this all the time, but I think it's important because I see a lot of people that I know that are in the same, they'll be so sad about a relationship and it ending, getting left for someone else or just left in general or whatever it is. And then that same person is immediately looking for someone else, or like, like falling victim to lust and like just like loneliness or whatever. And it's like that can all be cured with God, which it took me a couple years to realize that. Like I went through a lot of things. I was drinking heavily after the relationship ended. Sold my house, moved here where I'm at. So I was going out and drinking a lot, kind of making up for lost time. Like I said, it wasn't out of sadness. I was, in my relationship, I was sort of isolated. Like I didn't hardly see family, but I definitely didn't really see friends throughout those couple years towards the end of my relationship. So I was sort of making up for lost time, going out socializing and drinking. But when I drink, I drink. Yeah, it just got really, instead of playing video games, sitting on the couch, eating fast food, now my routine was getting off work. Where can I go drink and socialize, and looking for, like I said, the next, relationship or whatever, not even a relationship, just looking for, I guess, to feel wanted or desired or whatever it is, chasing that. And somewhere along the line, I just got tired of that like desperation and that, waking up feeling just blah, just useless really, and really down. And, that's what alcohol does to you. It'll trick you for a little bit, when you first start having your first few drinks. It'll trick you into thinking you're feeling good and you're the life of the party and everything's great, and it's going to be a great night. But then, what, the next morning it's the same thing. You're like, why? That was such a waste of money. I spent $100 on, all the drinks and the, good times that I hardly remember. And that, yeah, got tired of it. And I set a goal. Hey, I'm going to quit drinking for a little bit. And pretty quickly I was like, man, yeah, I forgot how good being sober is. So here I am 2.5 years into that. Got sober and really isolated. Like a lot of times sitting on this couch, like watching YouTube videos or like podcasts, or trying to just better myself and learn things. I really started, even though I was already eating gluten free, I started like really looking into nutrition and what I really needed to be eating, and really got big into the, organic produce and the grass fed beef and pasture raised organic eggs, and, just real whole foods, single ingredient, just from nature, from God, what he put here. Kind of got big into the nutrition and learning about mindset and how the brain works and how thought works, and, watching Alan Watts videos and Neville Goddard and Lewis Howes, Joe Dispenza, who talks a lot about like the pineal gland, which I've mentioned a bunch, which is kind of a woo-woo term, but that's a gland in our brain, that they're still trying to figure out exactly what the heck it does. But yeah, I was just learning a lot about that stuff and was really intrigued by it, and kind of just kept learning. And then, it really was very impactful because I, started like going through this, like having like synchronistic experiences, like where something would happen and I'm like, what in the world? Like, that's crazy. Like, it was like I was tuned because, I'm cleaning up my body, and, your body in general, the electro, magnetic or whatever it is, just connection, when you get to the nitty gritty of it, I mean, matter is mostly air, and everything, is matter. Like it's weird to think about, like atoms, are mostly air. It's just weird to think about that. And atoms make up matter. And I mean, it's like, what in the world? And when you start cleaning up your body, at a cellular level like that, I feel like it really strengthens your antenna or whatever it is. And started having all these synchronicity type things where like I'd be thinking something and something would happen, or I'd be thinking about someone and they'd call me that I hadn't talked to in forever. just weird stuff like that, or just I told my butterfly story about my grandpa and the Jimmy Buffett, and you can go back and watch my other videos. I talk about a lot of this same stuff, but yeah, just trying to get more structured about it. But I was having these experiences like I've never in my whole life, and I'm 30, 31 years into life, and just now like realizing all these things, like how connected we are to nature, and being grateful for just this life, and these just going outside and walking barefoot on the grass for the first time in a long time. And I started doing that every day and just feeling really good, and looking into all these like spiritual signs of like cardinals and birds, because I started noticing all these birds, like to the point where I know what different birds sound like I can hear a bird sounding like, oh, that's a cardinal, oh, that's a northern mockingbird, oh, that's a blue jay, or a Carolina chickadee. Like I got these bird sounds memorized, and seeing butterflies, like just all this stuff I felt really like connected to, like finding feathers and all this stuff. Seeing the number 444 all the time, that was a huge one. That was almost like the first type of synchronicity thing that happened, where it was like every day I was seeing 444 somewhere. And another crazy thing, like looking back, I don't whatever sign from God, or something that I can see now is where it came from. But 444, I don't know if this is a reach, but my grandpa, who I've always felt like a really, even since he's passed, like a real strong connection to. It was like April 14th, 2014 when he passed away. So a lot of fours in that. Got real into like spirituality stuff, not intentionally, but kind of just. And then I was like listening to these sort of positive, like I say positive, but it's still divination. But I was listening to like certain tarot readings, it's very like manifestation type readings and stuff, and looking at my horoscope every day, and it was real intriguing and fun and stuff. And I looked forward to it every day, like reading that and stuff, and listening to the readings. And I have since prayed to break any kind of connections to those things, or anything I might have opened myself up to. I've prayed for that stuff, and I've had friends pray for me about that stuff. But I never got into like anything like necessarily like dark or evil. Like I definitely avoid that at all costs. Like I hate violence, I hate Satan, so I'm not about any of that. So it didn't feel wrong what I was doing, but in hindsight, I can see now it was kind of, and it was very like, yeah, it was positive and uplifting and stuff like that. But it never really gave me any clarity or anything. It was always sort of like open ended stuff. So a couple years of that, and like I started walking every day, like I talked about in my last video about movement. Like during this time, like my relationship ended, and I started all these things, got sober, started walking on my lunch break outside and getting in the sunlight, and all those things combined sort of was feeling really good. And then um, there was like a period of like a couple weeks, or really a few days maybe, where it was real heavy, where like random people in my life were like coming to me talking about God. And like I still, like to this day, I'll get weird like random messages on social media, like from different like spiritual type people, or they seem like kind of a mixture of spiritual, and they also believe in God, but they're more spirituality type, aura type people. And they'll just randomly message me, hey, I found you on here somehow, and God sees you, and you have a positive energy. I get random weird things like that, and that's a whole nother like, I believe that there's a reason these people are saying these things. But I've also gotten like witchy ones where it's like, oh, you have you know a lot of people around you that see your positive energy, that there's a lot of envy, and or whatever it is. I need a picture of you, and blah blah. And then you look at their profile, and they've got a bunch of like witchy little items and things, and it's like, nope, 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 block. But yeah, like things like that were happening, and for this period of a few days, or a week or two, where like random people in my life were, and it's people I know that I see all the time, but they started talking about God. Like a buddy from work came back from surgery. He was out 6 weeks, and I don't think he believed in God before that, or definitely never talked about it. And started talking about watching the show The Chosen, which is one of the greatest shows I've ever watched in my life. If you haven't watched that, um, But he was talking about that, and like the same day, a random friend messaged me on Instagram, like, "Hey, is everything okay? God put you on my heart to pray for you in my morning prayers this morning," and it was like at the peak of my like spirituality phase. And another friend, musician friend, invited me to church, and all these things like were happening through people. And now looking back, I see that it was God. Like, hey, buddy, like all these things are happening. These spiritual synchronicity, signs that you're seeing and everything. Don't forget where everything came from. So it kind of like that was the beginning of like, oh my gosh, I've been sober for a year plus and having all these positive, like spiritual, really getting in tune with nature and myself and all these things. And yeah, that happened, and that was the beginning of like my journey back to my faith and developing this relationship with God, really for the first time in my life. And that's kind of where like I started really finding meaning in life and purpose. And like I always wanted to help the world and help people, and leave the world better than when I found it, and leave people. I just want to leave a positive impact and help as many people as I can, and help them, with their health, or just cheer people up. Ultimately, help as many people find this meaning, and realize what life is all about, and how good life can be, and how much peace you can have when you do develop that relationship with God, and you realize like that's where everything came from. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I went from feeling, no real ambition, no, just drinking and all that kind of stuff, to where I'm at now. It's like it's hard to believe that I was that person. And at the core, I've always been like, I feel like a very caring, like kind person that wanted the best for people, and big heart. I feel like I've always just really loved hard, and now I kind of know where to direct my energy and my focus. I know what's good for me, and I know that the most important thing is not pleasing people or others. It's pleasing God, and at the same time, the whole purpose of me doing this is to help other people on their paths as well. So yeah, stop drinking. Things didn't instantly get better, but they definitely became clearer, and developed that awareness of thoughts, emotions, and patterns, and yeah, all the synchronicities, and spirituality, manifestation, mindset, content I was watching, feeling more connected to nature, the sunlight, birds, grounding, the butterflies, the feathers. Definitely had that sense that something bigger was guiding things. And then, through friends, God called me back to him. And yeah, it's weird. I was looking for meaning in all these signs and things, and not acknowledging the source of it until God's like, hey, buddy, I'm going to make sure all these people in your life let you know. And it was crazy because it's like people I didn't know, really, not that they didn't believe in God, but that they actively like were working on their faith and stuff. So it was really cool. And I'm really glad and grateful for those people. If you're watching this, you should know who you are, based on some of the things I've said. But I really appreciate you guys, and I really thank God for doing it in a way that's undeniable. Yeah, just giving God the glory finally, and remembering like, you know, he is the creator of everything. So it's all because of him. Yeah, now like it's to the point like my internal conviction about things it grows stronger every day. Like obviously this is also could just be my overthinking and my assumptions, but I feel like maybe because I'm not getting a lot of traction with doing these videos and stuff. Like if you look at like the analytics and the numbers of views I'm getting, or my little clips from these videos, like I'm not getting a whole lot. And yeah, I mean, you can let it bum you out, and obviously I would like more, but I think a lot of people see it because I see people out and about that I'm like, I didn't even know I was friends with you, and they're like, man, keep doing it, that's good stuff. I think a lot of people just are scrolling, they don't think to like it, or whatever, but it does help if you think to do that. But I think people, hopefully not, but I guess more of what I'm trying to say is I don't want to come across like I think that I'm better than people. I'm better than who I used to be. I want to help people because I've been there, like I said, I've been through all these things, and where I'm at now, I want to kind of help people see steps you can take to maybe get you get you there as well. And definitely not perfect, but I'm way healthier. And I think a huge part of like all these healthy habits and things that I've talked about in all my videos, like mindset, meals, like eating right, movement, and meaning, like all these things. I think it really like it cleans you up, just mentally, physically, spiritually, and it allows for God to, like, the body's a temple. It allows for God to dwell in you. I feel like it makes that easier. It makes it easier to connect with Him. That's just, it's in the Bible. Like it talks about that. So, and like I said, my conviction has grown stronger. Like not I'm definitely not perfect. I struggle every day. There's things, but when I do those things, when I fall short, I feel more convicted about it. Like using cuss words. Like last night, I played a gig. It was a little pub in Fort Worth, and it was very much like a pub. Like people drinking, whiskey shots and beers all night, and being loud and loving the music and yelling out requests. And it was very much like a great time. And I'm sober, but I don't, people don't even like, I don't think they can even tell, like, unless they're really like, oh, he don't have a beer up there or nothing. But because I'm having a great time and like loving the requests, and I'm playing them and all these things. But um, people are, shouting, like talking, just people cuss. Like that's just part of it, and myself included, trying to work on it. But I even like sang a song I wrote a long time ago that has a cuss word in it. And right before the line in the song came up, I thought, like, how can I sing a edit, like a clean version of this? And I couldn't think of it, and I just I said the cuss word, and I felt bad immediately. And I'm like, oh, so it's, like I just prayed in my head when I got done, like, why did I do that? Like, forgive me, I shouldn't have done that. Like, it was one of those instances, just falling short, trying to please people. Like I thought it would not necessarily sound cool, but it just, the flow of it, and oh, everyone's cussing, and it's going to sound weirder if I don't do it, like whatever. But yeah, my conviction has grown stronger. But at the same time, peace replacing, confusion. And that's been so great. I just, I've found peace and purpose, meaning. That's kind of where, like, why I quit my job, why I'm doing this. I'm just trusting God. And like, that's another thing. Like, I've got more discipline and structure, even, going pretty far back, just these habits compounding and stuff, like I keep saying, and treating the body like a temple, with just choices and food, and not drinking. And I've been praying a lot. What really strengthened my prayer was when my other dog, I don't know if you can see Zeus here on the camera, but my other dog Ozzy, I had to put down back in January. We battled from like um, the end of October, just really bad cancer that we were fighting. And I was doing everything possible, multiple, a big surgery to remove as much as they could, and then multiple like issues from the surgery, and all these. It was like every day I had to go back to the animal ER, like every day for almost 2 months, or every other day, and I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of my savings, just doing whatever I could. And but I prayed every day. I would take my Bible with me to the place. I would always keep it. I would put it under. I'd put his bed in my truck so he could lay down in the bed, because his cancer was on his hip. So, and he could walk and stuff, like, and it got to the point where he was hopping on 3 legs. So, but I wanted him to be comfortable, and I'd put the Bible under his bed, or when at home I'd put my Bible under his bed and pray with my hands on him. I just got real good about doing that all the time, like multiple times a day, and it really strengthened my prayer. And although I ended up having to put him down and lost him, it's all perspective. Like I'm not. You can be mad that God could have saved him or whatever, but I mean, God cares about animals, so I know that there's a purpose, and I know it's like I feel like all dogs really go to heaven. Like God doesn't just poof, they're gone for no reason. And like I said, it strengthened I say but I mean, I guess it showed me how God perseveres through, you know, even the hardest things in life, like that, still can give you peace and understanding. Like, I can't put into words, but I definitely, like, I get it. Like, I wouldn't be who I am right now if I didn't go through that. And yeah, strengthened my prayer, and God answered a lot of my prayers, like, in different ways. It's not always exactly how you think it'll be, but even lately, like, I'll be praying, like, on the way to gigs or something, like, God, use me for your will, guide me, let me bring joy to people. And I'll even pray for, like, bless me with abundance and what I need, Lord. And that's, since quitting my job, I've been better about doing that. And man, I'll, like, even last night, my past few gigs have been very small venues, very small, like less than probably 30, 40 people max at these gigs. And they're paying pretty decently. And then I'm making, my past, like, 3 or 4 or 5 gigs, I've made over $100 in tips alone. Like, there was one gig I made like 300 something dollars in tips alone. So, and I immediately give thanks to God, because that never had. I used to play music for a living and play sometimes 7 nights a week. At least 5 nights a week. I was playing music for a living for like 5+ years, and that was very rare to make over $100 in tips for me. And I think a lot of it was just not being in the right mindset. I just was, like, going through the motions, playing the songs or whatever, not really caring about making the people. I mean, I wanted people to think I was good, but I wasn't, like, going out of my way to, like, play these requests. Like, I would play requests. It sounds worse than it is, but now I'm like, God, use me. Let me, you know, like, on the way to my gig yesterday. This is another random thing, but I was listening to something totally different, and for some reason, Toby Keith, Should Have Been a Cowboy, popped into my head, and I'm listening to, like Medium Build or something, something random. And I was like, man, I need to probably learn some, like, Toby Keith or something. I've been doing music so long, but it was the most random thought. Like, I haven't even heard that song in so long. And you would not believe it. Like, last night at my gig, someone asked me to play Toby Keith. And I don't think in all my probably 15 years playing music have ever gotten a request for Toby Keith. So that was very weird. Like, I even told them on the microphone, like, about that happening. Like, that's so weird. And that's just a God thing. I feel like he's like, hey, man, should have been a cowboy. But yeah, it's just weird. God answering prayers. Not weird, but um, just having that sense of guidance and just peace and trust. And even when life isn't perfect, just, yeah, I get fearful at times, but then I remember, like, man, I haven't really struggled too hard yet. Like, I haven't. And even if I do, like, I'm as long as I'm remaining faithful, consistent, and disciplined, like, and remembering what this whole life is all about. I think God will keep guiding me. And yeah. So basically, what I see as meaning, and my purpose in life is just wanting to help others with health and mindset, wanting to help people find their own meaning, maybe their own purpose or calling, and just helping people, and keep, myself just developing my ways of living in alignment with faith in Christ, and just getting better about that, and helping people and sharing. I think it's important we all share what has helped us in life, to, care about people. Life is not about having everything figured out. It's about learning to trust the process and stay aligned with what's true. And for me, that truth is God. Jesus Christ, came and died for all of our sins, past, present, future. I'm not perfect at this. Like I said, my life has become more peaceful and more grounded and meaningful since I stopped trying to do everything on my own, and realized, like, oh, there's something much bigger I can lean on, and someone that's always there for me, closer than my own heart is to me, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, if you're in a season where things feel lost or unclear, just know that change can start, just in really small decisions. And that's how it started for me. Like started walking, getting sober. Some of these sound monumental, but they don't have to be. You can just start small, and do a little thing if you can do it consistently, and and try to pray more often when you can, even if it's like right when you wake up or before you go to bed, like, or when you first lay in bed, just pray real quick. And you don't have to like be perfect at praying. That's another thing. I've gotten better and better at just being comfortable speaking with God, and not even out loud, just in my head. Like you don't have to verbally, like, I'll be in public in a place and just pray in my head real quick, like about something, or I'll see something happen and feel called to pray about it. I just do it in my head. But remember, life is a gift. I'm trying to live like I actually believe that now, and treat it like it's a gift from God. And life you never stop learning, and everything, good or bad, like I said, is trying to teach us something. So um, yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm wanting to do like life coaching type stuff, and just be here for people. I also need to make money. Um, so at some point, I'm going to try to figure out like a set in stone plan to do that. But I'm here to help people. If anyone ever wants to get together and chat, or schedule a phone call, or meet up for a coffee, or go meet up for a walk or a hike or something like that, I'm down for that. Just trying to follow what I feel called to do, and help people, and just trust that God's got me, and everything will work out how it's supposed to, as long as I remain faithful and disciplined, and not idle, and keep taking care of myself and treating others well, and yeah, just respecting life. Yeah, as always, man, if you get anything out of this, please share it with your friends, or tag someone that you feel like is trying to live similar path, or someone that could use some of this information. Or yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's a huge one. If you subscribe and comment, let me know what you got out of this, what you think. Maybe share your favorite Bible verse. So fill the comments with some cool verses, or some inspiration, motivational stuff. Remember, you don't change overnight, you change daily. God bless you guys. Love you, and be good, be safe, and take care. Peace.